leftovers.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, leftovers can be good now.
Oh yeah, it depends on always. You know what, man? I'd rather have 3-day leftover than 2-day leftover.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, well, today I was eating leftover spaghetti.
Wow, what a coincidence! I just had that last night. You know what? My son has I don't know what it is. You know, he's been living up in North Texas for a while, and he's kind of getting out of his ways of how we taught him how to cook. And he comes in with this meatballs, man, and spaghetti. You know, I like, when we cook our spaghetti, I like to chop my ground meat, cook my ground meat, and put it in the oven.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And let it cook.
Yeah.
But he likes meatballs with his spaghetti.
Hey, my son lives in Midland, Odessa, or Big Spring, which is near Midland, Odessa, Texas.
Okay.
Yep, yep. How's the weather in Texas?
Oh, man, you know what? The wind were so bad yesterday. I mean, it was gusting up to like maybe 60 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah?
And, but it was nice. But if it wasn't for the wind, it would be a perfect sunny day.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, but,
yeah, I don't like the wind. I don't like the wind.
Especially, anything that's blowing, any wind that's coming out of the west and out of the south, especially out of the west, because it takes some of that West Texas dirt, and it's just all over your car.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that West Texas, if you ever been to West Texas, man, it's horrible.
Oh, yeah. I was stationed at Fort Hood, Texas for a while.
Okay. You know, that's about an hour from where I'm at.
Oh, yeah. And I used to party in Dallas.
Well, you know, they changed the name from Fort Hood. It's no longer Fort Hood.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's I forget what it is now.
It's some weird name. I don't know.
Huh.
You know, but it's still Fort Hood, and if you know anything about Fort Hood, it gets wild.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And I used to live in Killeen when I was stationed at Fort Hood.
Wow. How long you been in the military?
12 years.
Oh, 12 good years?
Yeah, 12 long years. Yeah.
Were you in any conflicts?
No, but when I first went in from 73, 76, I was an MP. And then from 79, 86, I was military intelligence. And when we do the show, if you want to, I could talk about some of the things that I learned while I was in military intelligence.
Whoa.
Yeah. Some UFO stuff.
Yeah, dude. Paul, I got some guys that are ufologists, and they are some of them are, man, what's the word I'm looking for?
They're intriguing.
Yeah, they are deep into UFOs and government cover-ups and stuff like that. I mean, I've heard so many things about the backside of Killeen. Hell, I don't even know if it's true or not.
Yeah. There's a lot of strange things going on. But you know something? When you first called me, I thought you were a spam call. So, like, I get these calls, and I was like, oh, God, hello. And then you told me who you were, and I said, oh, okay, all right, okay.
Well, you know the thing with communication is so easy today, but what's so crazy about it, when I go look on people's social media, they have no way of contact. You know, some conversation, but man, how many emails do you get a day?
Oh God, I get so much junk. Yeah, a lot of spam. Yeah.
And then you turn around. So I'm caught up in the spam, and I get looked over, and a lot of people don't see what I put out, what I invite people to come on the show. I'll get totally looked over.
Yeah. That happens. Yeah.
So yeah, and it happens a lot. And so now I just look for investigators that have their number on there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way for me to get a hold of them.
Right.
And like I got a hold of you.
Yeah.
And look what's going on right now, man. We're about to have a good podcast, and and you live in Sacktown.
Right, Sacktown.
California.
That's right.
Man, we're gonna get into that conversation in a minute.
Okay.
We are 20 minutes early, but you know what? We can go ahead and get this show started.
Okay, that's fine.
Let me go ahead and do a quick intro. Then I'm gonna come back on and introduce you, and and away we go.
Well, you know what? Let me fill up on my coffee, and I'll be right back. Okay, cool.
Take your time.
Okay.
Oh wow, I got it. Hey, how is things going on this Sunday evening? Hey, you know what today is? Sunday evening podcast. And today I am in Sacktown, Sacramento, California, visiting a gentleman with a team called Halo Paranormal. And this is Mr. Paul Dale Roberts. He went to go get some coffee.
Hey, I'm back.
What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going down in Texas? That's what I want to know.
Hey, you know what? There is a lot going on in Texas, man. My God, the weather. I mean, I don't know if I'm getting El Nino or El Nina. The weather changes constantly, man. It's one of those things where a lot of conspiracy theorists are out there. I'm pretty sure you run across a lot of those.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying that the government is having control of the weather. But you know what? We're going to get into that in just a minute.
All right.
Mr. Paul, tell the world a little bit about you and what you do out there in Sacramento.
Okay. Well, I have what is called the Paranormal Hotline, in which I get a lot of phone calls of people who have haunting activities at their home. I got into the paranormal because when I was a child, I lived in a haunted house, and everything was centered on me. I was pushed into a heater. I was looking through the bedroom window, and I heard a voice which sounded like my mother saying, "Dale," which is my middle name, "Dale, come here. Dale, come here." She was trying to entice me to go into this orange grove, and my mother was actually in the kitchen. And it was very terrifying. So when I grew up, got a little bit older, I started reading everything on the paranormal. I wanted to know if those were childhood nightmares or what I was experiencing was really the paranormal. Little did I know I was going to become a paranormal investigator. And I joined the Army in 73 to 76. I was an MP working with CID, Criminal Investigation Division, Drug Suppression Team in Germany. So I did that for a while, and that's where my investigative skills came in. And in 1979 to 1986, I was a 97 Bravo intelligence analyst with the Photo Interpretation Center in Korea. And I worked with image interpreters, and their job was to analyze photographs, aerial photographs from satellites and from reconnaissance aircraft. And they could tell you like a T-72 tank, this little dot was a T-72 tank. How they do it, I don't know. It's like magic. But one particular day, 6 photographs came in. And on those 6 photographs were pictures of various UFOs, or UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. And they were taken by our reconnaissance satellites. And what they depicted was photographs of a cigar shape, disc shape, something that looked like ball lightning, triangle, and cube. And they were part of a bigger picture of a video. Those pictures represented 6 videos. And on the back of those photographs, it said intelligent movement. So that told me back in 1981, when I was in South Korea, Photo Interpretation Center in Korea, Yongsan Barracks, the military was still investigating UFOs. In 1969, Project Blue Book closed down, but they didn't really close down shop. They were still investigating UFOs, and I saw that during my time with military intelligence.
Wow, that is interesting. Are you still classified, or are you still not able to talk about some of these things?
I actually wrote an article about it, but if the military came and arrested me, it would be like they were admitting the truth, that what I was saying was true. And it's my word against theirs, practically, but yeah, no one's came to arrest me. I wrote an article about it. I've talked about it numerous times on various TV shows, radio shows, and stuff like that. So basically, I'm a whistleblower in that category.
Wow, interesting, because would you consider paranormal and UFOs as one, or would you put that separate?
I think it's all connected. I think UFOs, ghosts, demons, cryptids, it's all paranormal, and it's all connected some way or somehow. I think that there was a time where an alien abductee said that after she was abducted, that the aliens told her that her body was merely a vessel, and that they were very much aware of her soul. And your soul, when it leaves your body, and if people see it and it manifests because it's pure energy, they say, hey, I saw a ghost. So it seems like aliens are aware of ghosts, your soul, the aura about your body, the energy. So yeah, there we have a connection. Cryptids, it seems like, okay, like let's say for Bigfoot, you go out in the woods, you see Bigfoot, you can't find any hair, you can't find any dung that Bigfoot left, and its reason why is because it's an interdimensional type being. It goes from its reality to our reality and back and forth. And there are a lot of sightings where people see a UFO, then they see a Bigfoot, or they see Bigfoot, then they see a UFO. So yeah, I think it's all connected.
Oh wow, interesting. My good buddy Bob Lazar, you probably know who he is, right?
Oh yeah, yes.
He was telling the truth the whole time about what's going on. You know, so why did it take actual video for people to come out and say, hey Bob, you're actually right about what was going on in military tried to discredit everything that he did, you know, but no one, I mean, you can't discredit someone's mind, you know, and someone's actually telling the truth, you know, so why did it take so long for people to actually believe what he was saying?
Well, I did my own investigation at Area 51, and one of the things that I did, well, we camped out at the Alien Inn in the parking lot. Very nice people. And inside the Alien, they actually have a picture hanging on the wall of Bob Lazar. And I talked to this one gentleman, and he doesn't want me to disclose his name, but he said he worked at Area 51. He said that he was transported in a bus with blacked out windows, so people couldn't see inside that bus. And he was transported to Area 51 to work, and at a drop-off at S4 was Bob Lazar. He actually confirmed the fact that he knows for a fact that Bob Lazar worked at Area 51 at S4. As for him doing reverse engineering on UFOs, that he didn't know. And he doesn't know what was at S4. You have to have that need to know. And in military intelligence, I had a top secret SBI clearance, which is Special Background Investigation. So there was certain areas where I was working at, but I didn't know what was happening in another area. And the same thing with this guy who confirmed that Bob Lazar did actually work there. Then I talked to a young lady, and she told me that there's a lot of sonic booms, which is natural, because if you've got secret of aircraft over at Area 51, you're going to have sonic booms. But also, too, she saw a craft that went to eye level with her, and inside was a human pilot, and he waved at her. And then, yeah, he waved at her, and then he zipped up into the sky, and then kind of vanished. So, so she swears up and down that happened. And while I was there at 51 too, the people at the Alien, they went and took their ATVs, and they took us into an abandoned village that they said was haunted. And why that village was abandoned, they don't know. And we did soil samples when we got up to the Area 51 gate, and in the soil were tiny little wires, and I have no explanation why there was tiny little wires in the soil.
Interesting. Oh man, why do you think that people believe that the military retrieved their first UFO at in New Mexico, in which they had an aircraft before them that they discovered way before in New Mexico? Why is it that people don't talk about that compared to the one in New Mexico?
Are you talking about the crashed UFOs in New Mexico?
Yes.
Well, now it seems like we're getting kind of close to disclosure, except for Jaime Mawson, who brought out those alien bodies at the Mexico convention. And Jaime Mawson has a bad reputation of faking things and telling lies and stuff like that. So he kind of threw his back onto the blackboard, and we kind of have to start all over again. But with us coming close to disclosure with all these private companies, Elon Musk and everything else, sending out satellites and talking about colonizing the moon, I said I think it's getting really close that full disclosure will happen. And people are now starting to talk about various crash sites of UFOs, like in Kecksburg and Roswell and all those other places. crash sites in Russia, crash sites in China. You're starting to hear it now. Before, everything was just kind of centered on Roswell, and they were just kind of making jokes about it and saying that, well, there were crash dummies that landed and everything else. But now it seems like we're getting close to what is real and what is the truth.
Wow. How does the government, these contractors get the funding for all of this? Where is all this money coming from?
And those are the various black projects, and it's probably coming out of our own pocket. So with these projects, they make these secretive type aircraft and everything else and type of satellites. But yeah, I think it's come from our pocket.
So do you think how far up does this go? You know, because from what I've heard, these guys, this secret government that does all this, it's only need to know with the president.
Yeah, and certain presidents are privy to the information, and other presidents are not. And I believe Truman, he knew everything was going on, that we were contacted by extraterrestrials. And because Truman is the one who started Majestic 12,
Right.
so you got Truman that knew something, Eisenhower knew something, Kennedy may have known something, and possibly there's some theorists that believe that because of the UFO knowledge that he had, and that he passed it on to his lover, Marilyn Monroe, that he was assassinated because of that. Well, that was one of the reasons. The other reason was that Bobby Kennedy was going after the mafia, and Joe Kennedy was a gangster already, so they felt like, hey, you know. So they took out Bobby and they took out John, but they also, too, they leaned towards the fact that he may have told Marilyn Monroe that we're not alone, and so he was taken out. Both the Bushes, they knew. I don't think Clinton knew. Clinton's, he wanted to know. He even stated he wanted to know, but I don't think they told him. It seems like they tell the Republicans, but they don't tell the Democratic presidents. Reagan, I believe he knew. Biden, no. I don't think he knows at all. They don't trust him. So, certain presidents know, and other presidents, I believe, are kept in the dark.
How can somebody have so much power above the president of the United States? That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's called the shadow government. And even when I was with military intelligence, I heard rumors about a shadow government. And you know, you hear about the men in black. Well, you got them. When I was working at the Photo Interpretation Center, there was two gentlemen that came in with dark suits, and nobody knew where they were from. The only person that knew was our commander, and he wasn't telling us. So to me, they were like the men in black. And then, like, I couldn't wear my uniform, my military uniform, when I went up to the 38th parallel at South Korea, North Korea. We went to the conference table, and we walked around the conference table where you're on the North Korean side. And they told us to wear a black suit. White shirt, tie, a black tie, and a black suit. So, therefore, when we showed up at the conference table, we were like the men in black. So,
interesting.
yeah.
Man, I'm just putting numbers in my head on how much these black projects will cost. I mean, we're looking in the billions of dollars. I mean, somebody out there has to have track. Somebody has to track this loss of money, or is it a loss of money, or is it just money that's taken from one fund, put it in that fund, and this somebody has to have tracking on it. I mean, because that's a lot of money that can be put to other uses and other situations. It's hard to believe that billions of dollars are going to these black budget programs and nobody is holding nobody accountable.
It's totally amazing. Yeah, what you're saying is true. I mean, and I have no answer for it. I was never a participant in any kind of black project, so I don't know exactly where that money is coming from. All I can think of is coming from the people.
Wow. The people, do you think the senators know? Do you think certain senators know what's going on?
Certain ones, yes. And that would probably be the Republicans, yes, not the Democrats.
Why do you think they're so afraid of the Democrats more than Republicans?
I don't know. I think they think the Democrats are more for the people, and someone there will probably open their mouth. And just like they had that one guy that worked at Majestic 12, and he kind of went wacko, started talking too much, and then all of a sudden he's dead, and he tried to say it was suicide, but he was pushed out of a window by two men and fell to his death.
Yeah, but you know what's so crazy about it? Nobody, I remember that, and nobody investigated his death. They just thought it was suicide. Exactly. Nobody even thought about it. Hey, we need to look into. We need to go investigate this to make sure what actually happened. I'm pretty sure if somebody was to have, fingerprints on certain things, they would knew that, especially on his clothes, that he was pushed out of the window by somebody else. And it's weird how the government is able to hush people. I don't know if you can do. I don't know if the government can do that today with the people that we have today. Maybe 40 years ago,